Welcome to day 10. It's Friday the 22nd, I think, of July. It's 7:24 in the morning. I've already been out and taken Nelly. I've been on the scales. There's not really anything to report from that. I'm not even going to bother showing it because, well, I lost another pound and everything else is pretty much the same. But today marks a big change, another big change, and this isn't a habit change. This is my routine's going to go out of the window for probably about 6 weeks because it's the school summer holidays for the UK, which means the kids are off school. Oliver's going to be here from 2 p.m. this afternoon all the way until the 28th of July, which is his birthday. Then he's going to his mum's for a couple of days, then he's coming back to me for another week, and then he's going back to his mum's for 2 weeks as he goes on holiday with her. Then he's going to come back again, and we're going to go to Cornwall to see my brother for a week, and yeah, so it's just going to be all over the place. Jack's going to be here on and off as well. Now, obviously, I'm going to try very hard to stick to my exercises, my diet, and taking Nelly out on regular walks, but with all of that going on, it's going to be very difficult to bring you along to everything and to keep it up, I guess. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But fingers crossed, we managed to get plenty done. But I really want to focus on just spending time with family this summer, because the last few summers I haven't. I've been very selfish and tried to focus on work. And no, this summer I want to make a difference. So on that note, it's time to eat this beautiful bacon and tomato bagel, drink some coffee, and then edit yesterday's podcast. Now, I'm actually going to be really lazy with today's podcast, not because I'm feeling particularly lazy, although I am. I actually came up with an idea. Well, it's not really an idea. We recorded it for the first time live in front of the whole Discord, and nobody in the Discord, the people listening, were complaining about the audio quality or the pauses or the mistakes we made. And normally it takes me 2 to 4 hours to go through all of the audio, cut out all of the pauses, fix the audio, make it all sound nicer. Today, all I'm going to do is just put a few effects on the audio to take out those horrible breath noises and to make everybody sound similar. But I'm not going to cut out any of the pauses or anything like that. I'll listen through it, make sure there's nothing in there that shouldn't be in there, but that's literally all I'm going to do. So hopefully, well, it still take me 2 hours because I've got to listen to the whole thing, but it shouldn't take me as long. Let's see how it goes. Well, that went pretty smoothly and pretty quickly. It is now 26 minutes past 9. The edit is done. It says it's going to be 43 minutes, converting it into a file that I can upload. So I've got a little bit of time before that's done. But yeah, I feel really good about that. And I've got an idea for what I want to do next. And that is to go through my YouTube comments on these videos and respond to a few of them, because we've had loads and they've all been really positive, but there've been some advice ones that I'd like to respond to on video. Daniel A says, American breakfast is especially bad. Everything has sugar, and sugar for sure makes you fat. Oatmeal with toasted nuts is one of the few decent breakfasts that I feel good about eating, but honestly, it's hard to stick with because it's so bland. I understand that if you go to a diner or somewhere like that in America, you're going to probably get offers of waffles and pancakes and things that do contain a lot of syrups and sugars and things like that. And sugar's bad in high quantities, particularly if you're not doing anything with it. So all of these things come down to your lifestyle rather than just diet. If you're exercising regularly, then you can be more risky, if you like, with your diet. But if you're not exercising, then yeah, you should probably avoid high sugar content food. But you're not limited. Just because you live in America doesn't limit you to sugary breakfasts. There's so many diet books available, recipes online, and so many good things you can eat that are tasty that don't contain loads of sugar. And like if you make yourself a bagel like I do in the mornings, there's no sugar on them. I don't put any sugar in. They're really nice, they're tasty. Shop around, look for some recipes and see what you can have. Or just eggs. Eggs are amazing. Codger with some advice saying you don't need breakfast. Limit your eating window and check out keto. I have lots of suggestions for YouTubers to watch, but I won't link them here. DM me on Discord if you'd like the links to check out. I lost over 50 pounds so far working on getting healthier too. So basically it's a low carb, high fat diet. And the idea is the more fat you eat, the more fat your body starts being able to burn, and therefore it starts burning the fat that's within your system. It says it can cause significant reductions in blood sugar and insulin levels. Anything like this, anything that's high fat, low carb, or just like suggesting that it's a high fat content diet, you've got to be extra careful with, because there are good fats and there's bad fats. Good fats, yeah, great for your body, in the right quantities, but just going, oh, I'm just going to eat a completely fat-based diet, cut out the carbs, without going further into it than that, and again without the exercise to back it up, is probably not going to be the best thing for you. So I don't know a great deal about this. I'm not an expert in all of these things, but I would strongly suggest if you're looking at something like that, talk to a dietitian first and get a good grip on what is the right type of fats that you should be eating, and make sure you're still getting balance, because cutting carbs out altogether, there are diets that do that and some of them have seen positives, but you still need some sort of balance in your diet. You still need your vitamins and minerals and all of that sort of stuff to come from somewhere. So if you're going to do what I would call quite a drastic diet, like focusing on one type of macronutrient, make sure you know everything about it and make sure you sought advice from a professional first before jumping into it, because a lot of these blogs, a lot of these resources online are written by people that aren't professionals and aren't trained in it and are just sharing information they've seen elsewhere, and you don't know how good it is, and you don't know. You've got to be careful with anything like this. Kevin Arp says, wish you the best on this journey. I'm a little older than you and felt the same a year ago. I took it slow and steady and got back to my ideal weight. I still need to exercise, but it's hard to get motivated sometimes, and it absolutely is. Without a proper routine and without making a habit of exercising, just knowing that you've got to, without that push behind you to do it, is sometimes a really difficult thing to do. And that brings me back to, the whole point of this isn't just to start exercises and eat healthy. It's to create habits. It's to break bad habits and create new ones. Kimberly B says, if you don't enjoy breakfast, don't eat breakfast. Do intermittent fasting. I eat 2 meals a day, the first between 11 a.m. and noon and the second about 3 p.m. Finding the timing that works for you. And I've responded to this one, and I'll respond again now here. A few years ago, I lost a lot of weight really quickly. I lost about 2 stone, which is about 28 pounds. But I did it in a couple of months, which is a lot of weight to lose very quickly. I was really tired all the time, but there's a lot of information out there and a big movement at the moment, or at least there was back then, of intermittent fasting, lots of medical stuff done on it. And they were saying that it replicates basically how we were as early man, hunting and gathering. You would, not eat for a few days, and then you go out hunting, get your catch, and then eat as much as possible, and then fast again. And that can be proven to have some really good health benefits to the body, and it is a way of losing weight. The problem with intermittent fasting, I found for me personally, was that although it's easy to get past the hunger, so what I was doing, I was having breakfast, I was having lunch, but that was it. After lunch, I didn't eat anything until the next day for breakfast. All I would have after that would be tea or coffee and water with no milk in it as well. So I was drinking black tea and coffee until the next breakfast. And it took 2 or 3 weeks to get used to that feeling of being hungry, particularly going to bed at night. Sleeping was really hard because I was just hungry. But once I got past that, it was actually really easy, other than feeling tired. It was incredibly difficult to exercise because I had no energy. My calorie deficit was at such a point that I was just burning fat really quickly, but unable to do much else. And it wasn't sustainable. So one of the problems with the intermittent fasting was you can't then go out for tea with your family or take a day off. You can't have a cheat day, because as soon as you break that fasting cycle, your body just absorbs as much of the fat from the content that you're eating as possible. So you see this dramatic weight loss, and then all of a sudden there's a massive rise as soon as you do anything bad. So if you go away somewhere, or if you go for a weekend away and you just want to relax and take some time off and eat normally, you're undoing very quickly all of the hard work and the strain you've put on yourself to get to that point that previous week. So for me, that's not sustainable. I'm scrolling past absolutely tons of amazing, great comments here because I realise how long this little segment is already becoming. So I'm sorry if I haven't read yours out. There's some really lovely stuff in here. So thank you so much if anyone's left a comment. And if you've got anything you want to leave a comment about, make sure you do. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, this is one of the ones I wanted to get to. So Magister Mind says, thank you, Foxy, for bringing us on this journey. If you don't mind, I would like to recommend Huel Meal Replacement Powder. It's not a weight loss thing, and I've been using it for around 6 months. It doesn't taste so horrible, and it takes away the boring cooking for one chore. Keep it up. I'm looking forward to next week. So Huel powder, I've seen it kicking about in places. It's not the sort of thing I think I would like to try personally. Basically, according to their website, it's a nutritionally complete meal in powdered form. Just mix it with water in the free shaker provided and you're good to go. Huel powder contains an ideal balance of protein, carbs, essential fats, fiber, and all 26 essential vitamins and minerals, which sounds amazing, doesn't it? It sounds great. Oh, I'd never have to cook again. I'm just going to drink this powdered, weird tasting stuff for the rest of my life. I don't know anything about it. I've no experience with it. Obviously, Magister Mine has had 6 months of experience with it and says, it's doing good for them. Everything inside me says that turning all of those things into a single shake and then just drinking it is probably not a good replacement for the real thing. And it may well be. I do take multivitamins every day just to make sure I am getting a balance of all the vitamins and minerals I need. It's not the sort of thing I would like to try. I don't think technologies or things like this have been around long enough for there to be real life, long-term examples of this working for people. This is the sort of thing where you find out in 20 or 30 years time that people that have lived off this stuff, ended up with problems in one way or another because, it's just not got the natural stuff in it that they need. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I'm not going to say anything good about it. I don't think that's a good way to live, personally. But everyone, each to their own. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. Edwin concerns me. Again, I'm not a physician. I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I had the same injury as your meniscus one when I was 17. It was a football injury. I lost all the cartilage on that side. I also got told I'd never run again and would have arthritis when I was 40. I'll be 40 later this year and will be running my 10th marathon later this year. I don't have arthritis, have full range of motion and suspect the cartilage has regrown. I wish I could tell you what I did other than intense rehab, continued exercise and slowly building up. Good luck. If that's the case, that I actually looked into can cartilage regrow, and there was some few articles on it saying that they think maybe it can, and it doesn't look like there's any evidence one way or another on that. If it can, and that's the case, then that's absolutely fantastic, Edwin. Well done, and congratulations on doing 10 marathons. That's absolutely incredible. So good for you. All I would say is if it hasn't, and you're doing all this running, and you've got literally your knee, not your knee bone, and or whatever bone it is below that, just banging on each other every time you're running, you might not be doing damage now, but you're potentially weakening it. And at some point, you might just push one day a little bit too hard, and that could end up doing you some damage. So just be careful. But it's nice to know that potentially cartilage can regrow. For me, I haven't got arthritis in mine. I do feel it when it's cold. When it's cold, it hurts that area of my leg. And I can't feel it if I do do a little bit of running with Nelly or the kids. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't feel like there's bone on bone or anything like that. But I don't want to risk it because I want to live for a long time. And while you might be 40 later this year, one point you're going to be 70, one point you're going to be 80 maybe. Don't break yourself before you get there, because when you're old, things are really painful and things are much, much harder. Lawful Meteor again says, Nelly is so happy to see you in the morning, which she is. What a great feeling that is. Weighing yourself every day is great for logging your journey, but don't worry about just the weight. Other readings will change if the weight doesn't. We're surprised about the calorie count for the burritos. Does that include the tortillas? Amazing, keep at it. And yeah, it does include the tortillas. I measured all of the ingredients out and calculated all the calories from the packaging. And it did. It included absolutely everything that went into them. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Weight. Thing is, I mean, I've got a weight goal, but I'm not interested. I don't really mind what my weight is as long as I look how I want to look and I feel how I want to feel and I know I'm doing the right things. So that weight goal isn't necessarily, yes, I've got there, I can stop, I'm done, I'm finished. It's if I know if I'm heading towards that, then I'm going in the right direction. If I'm heading away from it, then I'm doing something wrong. So that's all it is for me. It's just it's a point in the future to head towards and know that I'm on the right track. But I don't, like I say, if I get to a point where I feel like I look good and I'm happy and I feel like I'm fit, then I couldn't care less what my actual weight is. Okay, Pringles are great with quite a long comment here. Another one that I wanted to touch on because it's got advice and guidance in there. And it says, Foxy, I hope you see this. Also, I know no one has asked for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If your goal is to lose excess fat and get fitter, you need to build some muscles to increase your caloric maintenance. Caloric maintenance is the amount of calories your body naturally burns. The higher it is, the easier it will be to lose weight. Also, to build muscle, you need to do strength training. I can't explain it very well, but it's very simple and straightforward. Next is to clean up your diet and always incorporate some rest days and cheat days. 1 day per week works great for me. That's kind of what I'm doing. I've had so much conflicting advice over the years about all of this sort of stuff I've read, stuff from other people, stuff that are really into all of this sort of stuff. What I know is that your body will eat your muscle before it starts eating your fat reserves. It will hold on to your fat reserves as long as possible. Obviously, muscle weighs more than fat as well. So it's very difficult to lose weight and build muscle at the same time because you're effectively countering what you're doing. If you're trying to bulk up and lose your flabby belly, it's really hard. It's really difficult to do that without like going to see a personal trainer or a physician or a dietitian and just like getting a plan that's unique to you. The reason I'm doing weights, as I explained in the day one video, is because it's a good way of exercising and getting my heart rate up, which will help me burn fat or get through the calories and help my heart improve fitness whilst eating healthily and losing weight that way. So I'm not doing weights to bulk up because that would be pointless if I'm trying to lose weight. I'm doing weights so that that's just a form of exercise that I've chosen to do. Now there's one more. I know we've got loads here and they're all absolutely amazing, but there's one more that I got recently that I want to just go into a little bit because I got an actually, and I think it's a joke actually, but here it is. Wiley Livingston. Foxy, I support you on your lifestyle change, but actually you need to be eating more fatty meats and less veggies. Try Dr. Ken Berry on YouTube. By following his guidance, I've lost 60 pounds since the 1st of August 2021. Feel like I'm eating like a king, no more blood pressure meds, and type 2 diabetes is gone. Get the inflammation down and you will feel so much better. Keep up the great entertainment. I hope you succeed in your lifestyle journey. Now, we touched on fats and stuff a little bit earlier on reading these comments. I think any advice that tells you to eat less vegetables is probably bad advice because vegetables are full of so many things that you just don't get from fatty meat. Meat fats are not always good fats. So again, I can't, maybe double check that Dr. Ken Berry is actually a doctor or maybe a doctor of actual, stuff like this, because that sounds like terrible advice to me. Again, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional. I'm not a doctor, but everything I know or I've learned tells me that fatty meat and less vegetables is not a good idea. That sounds like another one of these drastic diets that might seem on the face of it like a really good way forward, but potentially, really bad for your arteries and your heart later on. It says that it's helping type 2 diabetes and improving your blood pressure, but that kind of goes against everything that fatty meats tend to, fatty meats, red meats, like one of the number one causes of heart attacks and cholesterol problems. So I would really, really double check that information that you're getting from an actual professional. Go see your doctor, go get some professional advice and find out if that's sustainable and suitable for you, because you could be doing yourself a lot of harm that's going to be very difficult to undo later down the line. Certainly something I am not remotely interested in. I'm not going to start eating fatty meats. I'm not going to start eating less vegetables because I think, fatty meats generally bad. Thanks for the advice. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but maybe there's something all in this, high fat, low carb diets. But I would say that probably does come down to the right fats. Are you sure that you're not misinterpreting what Dr. Ken Berry is saying and going, you've heard him say briefly, oh yeah, you can eat a lot of fat and not so much vegetables, and you've just taken that and run with it? You say you're eating like a king. Are you eating what they've suggested you eat, or are you just, you've taken that, I can have whatever I want now? Just be careful. When you're doing crazy diets like this, or fad diets, or things that have just come from nowhere all of a sudden that people seem to be latching onto, check it out, get to the core of it, find out from a professional if that is suitable for anyone, or particularly yourself, because that sounds bad to me. But I don't know. What do I know? Anyway, that's enough of reading the comments. That went on for way longer than I expected it to. I'll probably cut a lot of that down in the edit, and hopefully, yeah, it's 10:30 now. That vlog should be ready to get uploaded and put out. Not vlog. Jeez, too many talking about vlogs. The podcast. Jeez. Another thing I want to address that's come up, I think it did come up in the comments, although I didn't find it earlier, and it's certainly come up on my Discord, is some recommendations I had to look at something called bright line rules. And basically, James Clear has written articles on forming habits by this thing called bright lines. And basically, it's a way of setting rules for yourself rather than saying you're going to try to do something. So, for instance, he uses the example, if your goal, if you like, is to check your emails less frequently, rather than just saying, I'm going to check them less frequently, you're going to say, I will only process email between 11 and 6 p.m. And as a result of that, on my Discord, Squirrelicious, who has been watching these videos, is a member of the Discord. I mentioned a couple of vlogs ago for somebody to, go through all of the bad habits and list them. And they've done it, but they've done it in the form of these bright lines. So I'm going to read them out now. It says, number 1, I eat a balanced diet 3 meals a day and I don't eat unhealthy snacks. 2, I drink no more than 3 caffeinated drinks per day. 3, I exercise 6 days a week. 4, I love core. 5, I keep my house clean and tidy. 6, I put the bins out the night before a collection. 7, I take time out for myself during the day. 8, I spend quality time with my kids. And 9, I go to bed early for quality sleep. Now, they're not as strict as the bright lines that this James Clear is suggesting that we did. They would have been more like, I will clean my house at this time on this day. I will spend this amount of time for myself each day. I will go to bed at this time each day. And I don't like it. I really don't like the idea of bright lines, because to me that makes everything you're doing feel like a chore, and every time you waver from those feels like a failure. You've got absolutely no sense of achievement there, no sense of self-empowerment to do it. All you're doing is saying, I've got a list of rules I've got to live by, and if I don't get them right, then I've failed. And I think that's completely the wrong attitude that you should have when you're trying to build new routines and build a better lifestyle for yourself. When you're doing stuff like this, the main focus should be on, will this make me happier? Can I enjoy what I'm doing? If you can't enjoy it, then you're doing it wrong, and you need to think of a way that you can do it. In my opinion, routines or changes to your lifestyle, new habits aren't formed by giving yourself a list of things and making sure you whip yourself into shape and follow them, or else. They're formed by repetition and routines are formed by doing things that you enjoy doing regularly until they just become part of that lifestyle. Bad habits are not broken by setting commandments for yourselves to live by. That's more likely to just make you hate the things you're trying to achieve, because life changes all the time. Life's hard, life changes. I'd rather be able to say, I'm going to aim to do this, but if I choose not to, that's up to me. I haven't failed, I've made that choice. If I set a bright line and I then decide I'm not going to do something, then I've failed. And I don't like the feeling that I can fail at what I'm doing. I don't want this to be something I can fail at. I want this to be something I can achieve and I can get better at and I can enjoy. So if you like bright lines and you've used them, and this is something that this is something you feel that is a good thing for you to do whatever you're trying to achieve with your life, then absolutely great. But I think it's just more stress and pressure than you could possibly ever put on yourself, because you're basically building an impossible set of rules. The one, I will only have 3 caffeinated drinks a day. No, if I want to have 5, if I want to have 6, that's up to me. I can do what I want. I'm going to aim to have less. I'm going to try and have less. And whatever less is totally up to me at the time and the place. And over this last week and a half, I've aimed to do more exercise. I have stuck to it, but I've never said I will do 6 days of exercise, because if I said that, I wouldn't do it. There's no way. If I said I'm going to do all of these things every day, I wouldn't even bother starting, because I just think, well, you've set yourself an impossible goal. If I want a day off, I'll take a day off. If I think I can't push through something, I'm not going to stress about it and feel like a failure. I'm just going to take a day or take it off and push into it the next time. And I think For me, that's a healthier and happier way of dealing with these things. It's just gone past 3 o'clock and Nellie's gone out with her mum for a walk this afternoon because they've gone to a nice park somewhere while I'm actually waiting in for a delivery. Oliver's here from school now, so the school holidays have officially started, and for lunch I made some more burritos. And I made enough to have some more tomorrow and the next day as well, potentially, which is good, so that'll save me cooking tomorrow. But I don't know what me and Oliver are going to have for tea. I guess I'll figure that out later. Just gone past 8 o'clock. I've just put Oliver to bed, which he moaned about because it's the summer holidays now and he thinks he can stay up till whenever he wants. I feel like I could go to sleep myself, but I'm not going to because there's a few things that I want to watch on TV. So I'm going to chill out for a bit, but I am going to not fall into a bad habit, but treat myself because of the hard work that I've put in over this last couple of weeks. I know we're not at the end of week 2, but I think it's about time I earned myself a little treat. So I'm actually going to have a snack. For tea, I had quite a small tea actually. It was another piece of fish like I had the other day, but instead of peas this time I had beans. And I think I'm craving beans because it's literally the only thing in my diet at the moment that's got any sugar in. So, snack time. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. First thing I need to do is make a cup of tea because tea is going to be required for my snack. And my snack is going to be quite a greedy one. I'm going to have one of the ginger biscuits that my mum brought round the other day. And on top of that, oh man, I'm going to have 2 chocolate digestive biscuits. And there we go. Now I can enjoy a nice tasty cup of tea with some biscuits dunked in. Oh man, I've been looking forward to this.